Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm sorry, a few minutes late. I need to get something to drink real quick. Okay, there we go. Hey, I told y'all I'm back. So, if you did not hear, I am back every Thursday. Not every Tuesday and Thursday like I used to be, just every Thursday. So, come on in the room. I'm gonna give you guys a second to come on in while I take a sip because I am very dehydrated. Okay, Jesus, I feel better. Hey, cuz, what's up? How are you? I love you. I miss you. We'll have to talk. We have to catch up. Hey, mom, love you. All right. So, hey, y'all. Happy Thursday. Happy Thankful Thursday. You guys know I always like to use my, I don't know, what do you want to call it? My rhyming. They're not rhyming, but Thursday and thankful. Okay, whatever you want to say. I did wake up today with a lot of gratitude, right? I woke up with just a lot of gratitude in my heart. Really just thinking about every little thing, about all the different ways I'm blessed. And I definitely, that was a good way to reflect, right? I don't get to journal as much as I used to, but I said I was going to do some more of it. But I just believe that you should reflect more on what you do have. It'll help you with those moments that you don't feel like you have much, right? And so I'm excited to be here today. I'm back in it, guys. I told y'all it's going to be once a week. It's a little bit different, right? I know the twice a week, at least we got to talk a little bit more, but I think this is going to be good too. And so let's get right to it. So if you saw what I posted, the topic of the day is, going to be, who can I trust? And the reason that I wanted to talk about that is because I think that's a real question that people don't really always have the same answer to. So I thought it was pretty interesting to talk about it. And so let's go. Oftentimes when we think of trust, matter of fact, I did pull up the definition for it. I don't give definitions often, but I figure it's good for the people who don't really know, so it doesn't seem like I'm going off the top of my head. Before I start that, for the people that don't know me, let me remind you, I'm Paris. This is Conversations from Paris. We talk about mental health issues and topics, and the goal is to take the stigma away about talking about mental health, taking the stigma away about talking about mindset and identity, and why we need to have conversations like this regularly. So that's who I am. If you don't know me, for those who do know me, you already know what we do. Okay, so let me give you a definition of trust, just so that we're all on the same page. Trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Again, that's the firm belief in the reliability, the truth, ability, or strength of something or someone. And so I think that's a good basis for what we believe trust is. I think oftentimes, if you listen to the different songs you have out here, we have so many movies, so many songs, and the theme of it is often that we can't trust anyone, right? Or that you trusted someone and they betrayed you. So I knew this was a good topic because I think us just coming off of Valentine's Day, I I think this is a real conversation to be had. Hey, Trey. So I believe that when you start to talk about trust, I think, can we all acknowledge that trust is a two-way street, right? Like, there's a two-way street. And I hear some people, they go about it in different ways. Some people decide to say, when I meet you, I give everybody the same measure of trust up front. And it's up to you to maintain the level of trust I gave you, or you can violate it. And once you violate it, I can diminish it, right? I can say, okay, it was here. Everybody got this level. And because you did something that broke my trust, now it's down there. Or vice versa. I could say, which I know some people do, they say, hey, I don't trust anybody at the beginning. So everybody has zero trust. And it's up to you to build so I can give you trust. Do something to show me that I can trust you, and then I will indeed then give you a measure of trust. Again, everybody does it differently. I personally in my life have been the type to give everybody a measure of trust off gate. If you don't give me a reason not to trust you, I trust you to a certain extent, right? I trust that what you're saying is the truth until you show me otherwise. Like, I don't assume that everyone's lying. I assume that people are trustworthy until they show me different. That's just kind of how I operate. I do believe when we're talking about trust, then we also have to talk about discernment, right? And I'll give you a definition for discernment, because again, I don't want you to think I'm just pulling stuff out of my head. These words are very easy. These are not a lot of psychological terminologies. However, I wanted to be very clear about what we're talking about. Discernment is the ability to judge well. And then it says in the Christian context, is the perception in the absence of judgment with a view to obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding. But I think we're going to use the first definition, the ability to judge well. So when we are talking about trust, again, when I say if you give somebody a measure of trust, then you're hoping that in turn they are going to be trustworthy, and that you would have not given out them trust and they will not betray you of some sort. But that's where discernment comes in, because who you give your trust to oftentimes can affect what you do in the future. Meaning, if you give your trust to somebody that was unworthy of it one time and they hurt you really bad, or if you give it to them several times and they continue to hurt you, or if you give it to several different people and those different people hurt you, it could cause you to put up a barrier and a wall so that you won't get hurt anymore. But if I had to argue it, I would say, instead of you being upset with everyone and not giving anybody trust, I believe then you have to start to judge your discernment. You have to judge where your discernment is. And then if we start to talk about discernment, I believe then we also have to talk about wisdom. And I'm bringing through these words pretty quickly because I want you to understand that all of them are related, okay? All of them are related. When we're talking about trust, it automatically rolls into discernment, which is already I'm going to show you how it rolls into wisdom. Wisdom, the definition of it: the quality of having experience, knowledge, or good judgment. Then we just say the ability to judge well, which is discernment. So wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Here's another one. The soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application of experience, knowledge, and good judgment. I like that. I like that definition. So we'll take the words from it: having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. That's what wisdom is, right? And we haven't not even talked about different forms of wisdom, because there are definitely different forms of it. But if I just had to talk about it very broadly, wisdom is the ability to take the experience that you had, because all experience is past tense, right? Experience is past tense. So Wisdom is the ability to take the experience that you have had, the experiences that you've had, along with the knowledge that you have. Have is present tense. This is my current knowledge base. So the knowledge that I currently have, coupled with the experiences that I have had, with the judgment that I will have to make. I'm going to say that again. Your experiences of your past, your current knowledge base, with the judgments that you will have to make. So that's a past, present, and future thing. Okay, so let me bring you back. What are we talking about? Who can I trust, right? I saw somebody playing that song the other day. Friends, how many of us have them, right? Like that was a song back in the day. They have so many myriads of ballads and songs about trust and, not being able to trust people, wondering who you can trust. It's a real thing. And so there had been a conversation that had been going around the last couple of days, and it really started me to thinking about this trust issue and how it really does affect everything in your life. If you don't trust the people you're in relationship with, meaning if it's a romantic relationship, if it's a family relationship, if it's a friendship, even in business, if you're not able to trust people in business, you're not going to be able to grow. You're going to be stagnant. You're going to be often paranoid, and you're not going to have any level of comfort. You're going to be paranoid oftentimes, and you're going to really feel like you don't have anybody that has your back. So it's really important to be able to understand the point of breaking, right? Where was your trust uprooted? What happened that caused you to lose trust in people? And it might have not, again, been one thing. It might have been several instances, several situations. But we have to get to what the real issue is, because whether or not you believe that you need to trust people, you do. I think there's a song, or someone said, "Trust no one," and it originates from a hurt place. It originates from trauma. Y'all know I was going to bring the T word up soon. I mean, I try not to overuse it, but I don't think that we really get how much of this stuff is connected to that. So if you don't address that stuff, then you're out here operating in a way that is, you're the first one in the beginning of the year to say, I'm cutting all these people off. I don't need these negative people in my life. I don't need people that don't support me. I don't need that. You do all of that. You're the first person to do that. Then you might have a trust issue. Somebody's trying to show you love. Somebody's trying to support you. I don't want nobody doing something to think they're going to get something back from me, or doing something for me to get something. I don't want that. If that's the first thing you say, you might have a trust issue. Somebody's trying to give you a gift or surprise you. Oh, I hate surprises. Whenever I hear somebody say I hate surprises, that's not only trust, that's also control. But it's also trust. I don't trust that what you're going to give me is going to be satisfactory. I don't trust you that you know me well enough to do this right. And it's a little bit of control. I don't like to not know what you're doing, right? I don't like to not know what's going on. So here's another one. If you go to the workplace and the first thing you say is that these are my work people. I don't know these people. I don't talk to them. They don't need to know nothing I do. This ain't their responsibility to know me. They gonna just get what I give them. You have every right to say that. But oftentimes when you walk in with that attitude, that is also a trust issue. That means there has been a serious breach of trust in your life, and you now no longer have any bit of a rope to give somebody. Like I said, like for example, when I meet somebody, let me give you an example. So this here is another mic. Just don't mind me. But you see this string that is on here? The string here is like, this is the mic, but I'm giving you a little bit of string, right? When I meet people, I give them some string. I'm going to give you some trust because I just assume that you're a good person and that you don't purposely mean me harm. And so that string is what I give you. That's that little bit of trust I give you. Whereas other people like, nope, I don't know y'all. Not giving you no trust. Nope. I'm holding you on a leash because I don't trust nothing you do. And I'm watching you like a hawk. And the first sign of something that you do wrong, I'm cutting you off. Does that sound familiar? And I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm just trying to get you to recognize your patterns. You have to recognize your patterns because if you do not acknowledge that you have a trust issue, then you can't work on it. And if I hear people brag about trust issues so much, I'm telling you, in the last couple of years, I have not seen more people brag about their dysfunction than I have ever. And I'm all about being honest and being real. But I think people have become very comfortable with being fragmented and being dysfunctional and living in their toxicity to the point that they start to call the things that they do that's dysfunctional and toxic. They start to accept it and say, that's just part of my personality. That's just part of who I am. Take it or leave it. Meaning, I am not going to fix it. I am comfortable with this. I understand that I'm broken, but I don't want to be fixed. Don't try to fix me. I'm very fine over here in my isolation. You see this wall? Yes, I have a wall around me. Stay out. Because I do not want you to breach my wall. If you do, I'll fight you. And I'm saying this because this is what people are doing. First, even if they don't say it, this is what your actions are doing. You know, there are some people where you come anywhere within them, first thing they do, hey, give me a couple of feet. You too close. Like, when I meet people and that's the first thing they do, ding, 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 they have trust issues. And I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I understand we just came out of COVID. I understand people have germs. I understand people are crazy in the world. I understand all the things and why you should have precautions and why you should probably feel like you really don't want anybody in your space. But if that's the first thing that you do when anybody comes near you, then there's a bigger issue because that means in the past somebody has breached your level of comfort and came in your space and did something that caused you to distrust anybody coming into your space. And you probably made an inner vow to yourself that said, I will never allow anybody to get that close to me again without inspection, without fight. This goes deeper. I'm sure that we can start to imagine all type of breaches of trust. Physical trust that was breached, emotional trust that was breached, mental trust that was breached. I'll give you an example. Physical, when somebody touched you inappropriate or when somebody fought you. Emotional, when somebody was gaslighting you or would tell you things that made you feel like you were the one who did it, or they played psychological games with you. Mental and emotional can go the same way. Emotional, I'll go a little bit deeper. When somebody leads you on, that's like in a romantic relationship, or when somebody that you love will, get close to you and then deceive you in some type of way. Your trust is broken. Oh, let's go to spiritual. Oh my God, how many people are involved in a religion or a church that they get close to, and somebody that was in the church, a leader or something, they did something that was very wrong, and it breached the trust that that person had for that spiritual leader or whoever it was, right, in that entity, in that structure. Even financial, how many people have been stolen from, right? It puts you in a place. Like when I talk to people and the first thing they're talking about is finances, when you're not in a conversation that has to do with finances, I already know, okay, somebody breach their trust in the financial aspect. I get it. And while I'm talking about it and saying it like it's negative, there should be a certain level of discernment and wisdom that you have in these areas without actually having to put up a brick wall. Hey, Yolanda, girl. So I'm not saying for you to be like, oh, somebody did this, and then you keep your purse on the table with a whole bunch of money in front of somebody who just stole from you, in front of somebody that's on drugs. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna use discernment, and we're gonna use wisdom to know not to do that. But it also doesn't mean that every time somebody walks past me, I clutch my purse. It also doesn't mean every time somebody come near me, I'm like, where you coming from? What you doing? Where you coming to? Why you touching me? What you want to do? You trying to get me? I watch so many people struggle. No, I'm not going to even say struggle. Live with trust issues that have been going on for some time. You can tell how deep rooted they are. It has definitely become part of their day-to-day life. So much so, I tell people all the time, when you tell somebody that lies, the greatest lie that they can tell is the lie they tell to themselves every day. I'm going to say that again. The greatest lie, I can't expect you to tell the truth to me if you lie to yourself every day. Right? So, same thing. You won't trust me if you don't trust you. And I know you're thinking, no, Paris, you're wrong. I do trust me. That's the only thing I trust. Nope. I can prove it. I can prove that if you don't trust everybody else, you sure don't trust yourself either. Let me prove it to you. We talked about discernment. We're talking about trust. Who can you trust? And we're talking about discernment and wisdom as well, right? Well, you would not distrust everybody automatically if you trust your own discernment and wisdom to keep the wrong people out and keep the right people in. Let me say that again. Yeah, that was almost a mic drop. I got a mic. Remember I told y'all I could drop this mic, but I'm not going to. You would not have to keep everybody out if you trusted your own discernment and your wisdom more to know who you could trust and who you can't trust. What you guys are doing instead is you're keeping everybody away and you're suspicious of everybody. That's because you don't trust you. Y'all, I'm talking better than y'all are responding. And I'm telling you this because I know it to be true for my own self. I have been through this. I probably still go through it sometimes, if I'm really honest. I talk about boundaries all the time. You know how much I love boundaries. You know how boundaries are necessary and are great. But people often get scared of boundaries because they think boundaries are a wall to keep people out. That's not what a boundary is. I say it all the time. I think boundaries is more of a fence. A fence that is eye level, a little bit lower than your eyes so you can see over it. A fence that has a door where you can open it and close it and control who flows in your circle and who flows out of your circle. That's what a boundary is. A boundary is a line. Hey, don't come across this line unless I invite you over this line. That's a boundary. A wall is a structure you put up where nobody can come in. It's sealed. Can nobody come in? Nobody can come out. This is a wall. Do not put up walls. You guys have been putting up walls because of your trust issues. A boundary I can see over and I can choose who comes in and out. What you guys are doing is you're keeping people out because you're scared that they're going to hurt you again. You're scared that they're going to violate your trust again. And so again, like I said, it's not that you only don't trust them. It's more so that you don't trust you. Because if you trust you, you would trust your discernment to know who to keep in and who to let in and who not to let in, right? So when I say who can I trust, I know y'all was expecting me to say people. But today, I ascertain that most of you can't trust yourself. But it's okay. We have all been there. I just need you to breathe that in for a second. Take a deep breath. You have been living most of this life not trusting your own self. You don't trust the decisions you make in your relationships. But you're the first one yelling, ain't no good man out here. Or ain't no good woman out here. Are you really trusting that you're discerning right when you're choosing? Ouch. Because I've been there too. You don't trust your financial decisions you make. And you don't trust people to not use you. Well, is it that you're not using good discernment when it comes down to choosing people to open yourself to or partner with financially, or business decisions, or places to sow, or that you have not built up enough financial knowledge to steward your things that you have financially well enough? Is it all of them, or is it possibly some of you? Yeah, Andre, that's true. Yeah, I do trust Jesus. You know I do. But, even in everyday life, I just talked about relationally, financially, friendships. We always talk about people like sing that song, backstabbers, smile in your face. Well, I want to talk about that. Is every friend a backstabber? Or did you let your gate down on your discernment and you literally did not try people before they came into your life? When I say try people, let me be careful what I mean. I'm at the point in my life where I'm not desperate for friends. Matter of fact, the people that partner with me, it's been intentional. So I don't enter into these partnerships and these covenants very freely. I am an open book. I can talk to anybody. I can hang with anybody. But if I call you friend, there is certain things that I watch and look for and I evaluate. And I expect them to do the same with me. Do you get that? I expect them to do the same with me. You have to be careful who you hang around and who you're with and who's in your circle. It is a reflection of you whether you acknowledge it or not. And after a while, it can't just be everybody else's fault. After a while, you don't trust your own discernment and your own wisdom. Andre, you said you're not good at choosing a woman. Listen, at least you were honest in saying it. A lot of people aren't good at it and they're not realizing that they're part of the problem. But it's okay. The good part is this is the first step. Once you acknowledge that you have some concerns or some issues, then you can turn inward and figure out what that's about and go to the root issue. Y'all, we have to stop constantly talking about the people that's hating on us. We have to stop talking about the people that hurting us. We have to stop talking about the people that we can't trust. We have to stop talking about the situations that have burned us. And we have to stop and sit and say, although we can't control what has happened to us, we can start controlling the atmosphere around us. We can just start controlling the places we go, the people that we're with, the decisions we make. So again, I say, when you say, who can I trust? Don't always look at your neighbor. Don't always look at that friend. Don't always look at that man or that woman, even your children or your parents. Start to look in the mirror, because you let these people in your life. You allowed the things to happen. Some of them. Some stuff I'm not saying everything. I am not saying that you can control everything. I'm saying that there's more than you can control than you're willing to be honest about. For the things you can control, if you can take accountability for some of the things that you didn't discern well, some of the times that your wisdom was lapsed, some of the time that you really did not turn on that gut feeling or trust your intuition or understood, if you're spiritual, if you believe in God, the Holy Spirit, understand that, whatever natural discernment that you have, if you can be honest about that, then you can move forward. We have to get out the victim thought process, is that everybody's always doing everything to me. Everybody has violated my trust. Everybody uses me. And then you got to wonder, why do I continue to let the people around me that have no good intentions for me? What's going on inside my heart that my blinders are like on? Why don't I see it? You're telling me I'm 40. By now I should be able to pick up on certain things. When we talk about past experiences, right? Current discernment, future judgments. There has to be a point where I can pick up on some things. And if I do not have that, then there's something going on in here that I really need to heal. There's something going on in here that's distracting me. I watch a lot of people's mouth say something different than their actions. Let me say that again. There's so many people that mouth say something completely different than their actions. Some people call it hypocrisy. Some people call it phony. I don't call it that. There are some technical terms for it, but I'm going to just keep it real, like, level here today. I say you're in a place where you can't trust yourself. You can't trust your, what's the words I'm going to say? You can't trust your choices. And unfortunately, you can say, like, there are people that say, okay, I want a good man, but then they keep choosing the same type of guy that's toxic and dysfunctional. And I see people, or vice versa, I want a good woman, but somebody keeps choosing the type of woman that has hurt them before. And people say, well, why are they doing two different things? Oftentimes you can desire one thing but don't know how to get from point A to point B. And what you don't realize is you're saying you want this, you want the image of this, but you're not actually like using your discernment to say, well, what creates this? What characters does this have? Because what I say I want and what I'm choosing is not lining up. So there's something internal that's happening that's keeping me from lining up with the things I say I want. So either the truth is I really don't really want what I say I want, or I don't know how to achieve that because I've never been taught how to. So it's either a situation where I need to be mentored and taught how to get the things that I want, and so I can align myself with the right type of people, or either I need to adjust what I say I want because maybe I don't really want what I think I want. I hope I'm not being confusing. The goal is to close the gap between what you say your desires are and what you're actually doing to get to your desires. That's the tension, right? That's where a lot of people have the stress at. That's where a lot of people are not happy at. That's why a lot of people live in this isolated interior prison of their mind. Yeah, you can be around a big family. You can have a whole big old family. Yeah, you can go ahead and have a wife and 4 kids in your house. Yeah, you can be around the guys or you can be around the girls. Yeah, you can have a new baby at home and your sister and your brother there that help you every day. Yeah, you can have your mom and daddy there. You can have a whole bunch of friends. You could have just had a wedding with 12 bridesmaids and 12 groomsmen and still be lonely and still be in a mental prison in your head where you feel like you cannot really trust people. I'm not even asking y'all if it's true. I know it's true. I watch it. I see it every day. I see people who literally don't trust. Not only do they not trust everybody else, they don't trust themselves. So Paris, what's the solution? I'm glad you asked me. I am glad you asked me. The solution is first to acknowledge that you don't trust you. That's a hard thing to say. It's a hard thing to say. Yeah, I'm trying to make you say hard things because once you say it and get past it, it's not such a taboo thing anymore. I think the first day that I ever told myself that I was, that I wasn't always the best friend sometimes, when I was able to say that, or when I said I don't always make the right decisions, I don't always do the nicest thing. When I was able to admit those things, I grew exponentially. Because there was a time when I couldn't say that. I always wanted to be the nice person. I always had to be the nicest one. Oh, I'm always nice. I always care about people. I always this. I would never do that on purpose. I never. The more that I tried to keep up this facade that I was always on it and perfect and always had great intentions, the sooner that I was able to say, you know what? Some days I'm just not the nicest. Some days I'm not as patient as I should. Some days I'm not as kind as I could be. Some days I just don't have anything extra to give. And that's okay. The minute I can be honest about those things is where growth comes in. Because instead of you acting when you act as though that you're at 100% and you have nowhere else to grow, then there's no growth happening. There you can't even go anywhere because you feel like you're already there. It comes when you deflate that ego a little bit and say, you know what, I did mess up. You know what, I didn't choose well. You know what, I probably could have did better. Probably could have studied that test more. You know what, I probably could have been more disciplined and not been on social media as much. You know what, I probably could have made more money if I was more focused. If I didn't have as much distractions. You know what? I probably was being a little bit, lazy. I got to do better. The minute that you're able to really be honest about not having it all together is the moment you can grow. Because now you're saying that, hey, I don't have it all together. That's a moment where you allow yourself to say, okay, that's okay. What do I need to do to get to a better space? Not a perfect space, but a better space, right? All growth is good, right? And so I think we focus outward, right? Everybody else is doing everything to us. And you know how I'm always talking about be self-aware. I want you to point inward. When you start doing the work here, I'm telling you, you will open your eyes one day and say, oh my God, my perspective is completely shifted. It's not everybody always doing something to me. I mean, they can try to do whatever they're going to do, but my joy, my peace is not something that they can change because I'm so centered here. I trust me to make sure the space around me is a space of peace. I trust me to know that when I come into interaction with you, not only are you not going to make my day worse, I'm going to make your day better. I trust me enough to say that, and I trust that little spirit inside of me, that little voice inside of me. I trust that I'm going to put myself into positions and I'm going to use my discernment and my wisdom to make better decisions and to lead me to a place where ultimately is purpose driven, ultimately is where I want to be. That's when you know you trust yourself. That's what I want you to get to. Andre, I love that. You said you're strictly looking inward now. That's good. That's the goal. I think it's so many people tell you to watch your back, and they don't realize that you really got to watch the inner part of you, the innermost part. You have deceived yourself so many times that you just put a wall up because you're scared for anybody to come close to you. But and I know this because I've been this person. That's never going to work. That doesn't work. You're going to be lonely. You're going to not be able to grow. You got to learn to take the wall down and say, you know what? I'm going to work on me so that I can to strengthen my discernment, strengthen that voice. I can let my wisdom grow by my past experiences, my current knowledge, and my discernment to be able to choose well. You can't control what you can't control. That's just that, right? But what you can control is a whole lot more than you think. And you will live a better life once you learn how to do it. So the question is, who can I trust? And the answer should be, I'm working on trusting myself more. I'm working on trusting myself more. I hope you guys got something from this today. I was thinking about this the other day and I was just like, this was really good, because if I could think about all the many times that I let myself down, I've been more mad at me than I was at other people because I knew better. And because I was broken in certain places, I was allowing those things that didn't heal, the roots of rejection, the roots of abandonment, the roots of, the fear of failure, the fear of success. I was allowing those things to not allow me to make good decisions. But when you start to heal from those things underneath, then you're able to really make sound, better decisions. So I appreciate you guys letting me into your life for a couple of hours. I said a couple of hours. I'm crazy. It's been 40 minutes. For a few minutes. I'm hoping this was helpful. I'm hoping that you really could really have a moment where you reflect and you sit down. And please don't let this lead to condemnation. Please don't let this lead to you beating yourself up. Please let this lead to you saying, you know what? I'm not so out of control. And there are some things I can change. I love when I can hear that I can make things better. Sometimes we act as though this life is just so unpredictable, but I just believe that we have way more control than we think we do. So I just really want you guys to walk away, do some journal work, okay? That's some homework. I don't give you guys homework all days, but do some work, some journal work. Write down the times that you really thought that people really violated your trust, and really, instead of you writing down what you thought people did, write that down, but then write down what you really did, like how you violated yourself, how you violated your own trust, and then try to write down another column what you think the root of that is, right? I'll give you an example. At one point in time, I was like, ooh, I don't trust other women. That's deep. I didn't really said that out loud before, but that was a part of me at one point in time. I don't trust women. They catty, they messy, they this and that. What that really meant is I didn't trust myself to choose women that I can be in relationship with, that are worthy of my relationship. You see how I broke that down? So really, I wasn't that I couldn't trust women. I couldn't trust myself to choose the right type of woman for me to walk with, right? That were trustworthy. Let's go another step. What's the root of that? In the past, my past experiences, I have chosen people or let people be in my life that have treated me wrong, that have hurt me, that have made me feel less than, that were not committed and loyal to the relationship like I was. So those past hurts, those past feelings of rejection, abandonment, feelings where people didn't support me when I supported them, that was what drove me to the idea that I couldn't trust women, which was not true. That was the mirage. The reason was the root of rejection, abandonment, but it's because of the experiences. And really, it's meant I did not trust Paris to choose women to walk in good relationship with. So you see how I did that? So I really see it wasn't that. So I can no longer say I don't trust women. I did not trust Paris to choose people to walk in right relationship with. So now I healed. I worked on that. And I was able to drop a lot of that. So now I walk in relationship with some really amazing women. And I realized that once I was able to drop those fears and those false narratives, I was open to attracting the correct relationships to my life. You see how that works? But you won't do that if you don't let that wall down, if you don't deconstruct that wall. So, yes, Andre, finish writing the book. Write the book. Do all the things, sir. Do it. Do it. I love it. I love to hear it. Thanks, Trey. Listen, that's what we're here to talk about. Trey, I've heard it too. I've heard other women with similar trust issues and concerns. Man, I hear it all the time, Tracy. And I said it before. And that's the crazy part about it. You'll allow people to really let you believe that that's true. But it's because you've seen too many things. Your experiences dictate one thing. And your past hurts stick to those things. The roots of those hurts have you continue to do it. So thank you, Andre. I appreciate that. I love you guys. It's been great. I'm going to let y'all go. That's all I have. Well, I told y'all I wasn't going to be long, but I told you I'm back. Every Thursday, catch me right here. Listen, I'm being nice and putting this on Facebook, but I'm going to YouTube again. That's where I'm going to be, and I'm going to have a lot more content there just because I'm just now coming back after my long thing. Andre, if you haven't caught it, catch my last video. We'll explain why I took almost a year off. It explained that, but I really, I'm here. I feel like we're going to do a lot of amazing things this year. Y'all got to stay locked in. So please like, subscribe, share, comment. Somebody needs this just as much as you did. All right. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And if you don't ever remember anything, that you are enough. You are just as you are. You are enough. And